Capitol Hill, U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi faced some tough questions from lawmakers in a fiery congressional hearing. It quickly escalated into a heated exchange as Democrats immediately grilled her over how the Justice Department had handled the files involving the late financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Joining me now is Washington Stand reporter Casey Harper, who has been ringside today. Casey, walk us through what unfolded in today's hearing.
Yeah, Tony, I'm glad I wasn't too close. I might have caught an elbow. I mean, that clip you played showed just how tense the hearing was, and that wasn't just a one-off. It was many times throughout the hearing as Attorney General Pam Bondi testified before the House Judiciary Committee. Now, that testimony is coming as both sides have been frustrated over the Epstein files and how they've been handled. Some lawmakers have complained about the amount of redactions in the documents, while others said that there wasn't enough redactions, that some victims weren't protected, as both sides are sort of posturing to say that, you know, we're not guilty, they are. Now, during the hearing, a Democratic congresswoman asked Bondi to apologize to the Epstein victims, actually had several of them stand behind Bondi and asked her right there, really put her on the spot, and that's what Bondi called theatrics. Now, she accused her of failing to protect some of those victims by releasing their information, so it comes back to redactions. Now, Bondi rejected the premise of the question sort of out of hand, and that was just one of many tense moments. But it's worth noting that Bondi did call Epstein a monster, of course, and said she was deeply sorry for what the victims have been through. Here's another clip.
I'm a career prosecutor, and despite what the ranking member said, I have spent my entire career fighting for victims, and I will continue to do so. I am deeply sorry for what any victim has been through, especially as a result of that monster.
So a lot of anger, Tony, but not a lot of answers out of that hearing today.
You know, I watched, I wasn't there, but I watched part of it on C-SPAN, and you know, it is political theater. And this, of course, this is what has kind of consumed all of Capitol Hill in many ways, is the political theater. And that was one of the arguments about not having cameras in the courtroom so that we don't have people playing to the camera.
Yeah, well, they're trying to go viral, too.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, whoever can make the most outlandish statement, and there were plenty of them, there were plenty of them, but anyway, on the other end of Pennsylvania Avenue, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and President Donald Trump held a 2.5-hour meeting focused primarily on Iran. So, Casey, were there any takeaways from that important meeting?
Sure, that is a very important meeting coming at a very pivotal time. They discussed both Iran and Hamas, as you mentioned, but the takeaways coming out seem to be vague in general, at least for now. It's hard to know everything that happens behind closed doors in those meetings. But one thing that's important to point out is it comes just a day after President Trump reiterated his opposition to the annexation of Judea and Samaria. So, I mean, that was very interesting timing that he reiterated that commitment. Now, it's also seen as an effort to coordinate ahead of next week's meeting between American and Iranian negotiators. After the meeting, as I said, President Trump said in a post on Truth Social that nothing definitive was decided, but he did call the meeting, quote, very good. And he also said, you know, they discussed the tremendous progress being made in Gaza and the region in general. Tremendous was his word, not mine. And they agreed to keep working together so that the negotiations with Iran would continue. But there's two big looming questions here, Tony. Is Iran going to give up their nuclear program? And is Hamas actually going to disarm? The answer to both of those could be no.
All right, Casey, thanks so much. I think it is worth noting that Judea and Samaria, those are the biblical heartland. That's the biblical heartland of Israel. And support is growing within the nation of Israel for the Jewish state to exercise sovereignty over this region, which has been blocked by the international community. And it's interesting that, as you mentioned, the timing of bringing that up, I think in many ways it's to appease the surrounding Arab community.
I think you're right.
Casey, thanks so much.
Thanks.